It's not liquid, it's water. That's what they'll say. I mean, like, just by itself on water. Probably boil. I keep track.
Yes.
All right, well, maybe increase it to
Get on the train. It looks super comfortable and so flattering to everybody. Why am I not putting some come to my Instagram ads and just do it, you know? Yeah.
My mom's are right there.
You're a caption right now. Not mad about it.
She's one of my She was right from the.
I know. You're part of the
All right. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, to another exciting Creative Mornings. We see a couple new faces, so I'll do the normal spiel. Creative Mornings is a global organization that hosts monthly talks, and that range from business owners to artists to activists. Kind of runs the gamut. It really just gives an opportunity to connect as a community more than anything else. And so every month there's a theme. So there's a ton of chapters meeting, well, not right now, but in the morning their time on September 15th to talk about simplicity, just like we're going to do today. In the design traditions of Scandinavian and Japanese minimalism, the paring down of possessions creates a greater sense of tranquility and ease. Simplicity invites us to imagine how rich we might feel when we make do with less. Where can you exercise restraint and streamline excess? How will you find clarity amidst chaos? So each month, the theme is picked by one of the global chapters. This month's theme of simplicity was picked by the Gothenburg chapter. Don't know where that is, but great theme. And then the illustration is done by a member of that chapter. So Jessica Jonting created this beautiful piece.
Sweden.
That is Sweden, yeah. In Sweden, that is seen all over the world. So it's pretty cool that people have the opportunity to do that. I think we're up in like 2038 or something like that. So keep an eye out. Yeah. If you have not been to Creative Mornings, we start with an icebreaker. I like to choose icebreakers that are related to the theme. So in today's busy world, everybody's got some of their go-to little recipes, little meals they make for themselves, right? So in the vein of simplicity, I want to know, what do you make when you don't feel like cooking, but want something delicious? So this can't be, well, no, I'm not going to say what it can't be because it's your decision what's delicious. But yeah, I'll start. I'll start. I feel like I need to kind of like give an idea of what we're talking about here. Grilled cheese, classic grilled cheese, American cheese. I want like the cheese that you know, it's the craft singles.
Mm.
Oh man,
Dude, I had that for lunch
give me going.
yesterday.
Yes, exactly.
I did.
It's so easy and it's so good. It's one of those things. It's like White Castles or McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, where it's like if you're craving it, nothing's gonna do. And I don't need fancy bread. Just give me like a classic loaf, honey bread even. I'll take it. Yep.
Yep.
So that's where we're at.
So do you
on this
still
Friday
cook the
morning.
grilled cheese then? Like, is it? Or this is like a quick cook, like a quick 5-minute. You're
Yeah.
still like you can utilize an oven.
Yeah. Ideally, in this, there's not a prerequisite for this
Gotcha.
answer, but ideally, yeah, you're putting in a little work.
Okay.
Like, it's not. You're not just
It's
opening
simple,
up
it's simple.
a pack of like peanut butter crackers. Or
I
something, you know.
simplified this a lot more than that. So
We-
we're involving an oven here. Okay.
No. You don't. It doesn't have to be an oven. It doesn't have to be an oven. It's gotta
Well,
be.
speaking along those lines, we all know how most of us have grandmothers who are good cooks. Well, I had one who wasn't. She had a special recipe for grilled cheese and she brought it up. What she would do is take two pieces of bread, stick it in the toaster, and after they popped out, the cheese would go in.
Oh.
Yeah.
She served them to my grandfather all the time. I asked her once if she knew how to make real one. She goes, she does.
Yeah, I do. I just choose this method. Oh, that's great. That's great. Here we go.
Okay, frozen dumplings from the Asian grocery store.
Ooh.
Oh,
They
yeah.
take like 2 minutes, they're so good, and they seem fancy.
You just like boil them up.
Yeah, they're so good. The one over by Clover's, they used to be
Oh, the
easy
Hong Kong
anyway.
market?
Oh yeah.
They have like
Okay.
a
That place
million
is
different
bomb.
kinds, they've
Yeah.
got buns, they,
What do you? How do you heat them up? You like boil them, or you like?
I put them in a skillet with a little bit of butter.
Oh yeah.
And a lid, and
Yeah,
they're
that's
so
how you
like,
do it.
you can like
Exactly
pan
how you're
fry
supposed
them
to do
too, like start by frying them and then put a little water and
Love
so they're
it.
like crispy on the outside.
Love
And
it.
it takes like 5 minutes
Love it.
and they're so good. And they come in a bag of like 1,000.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, it's it's a Sunday afternoon. You're hungry, but you don't want to just grab something out of the cupboard. You gotta put a little work in. What are we doing? What do we got?
I'm a big quesadilla fan, and so
Mm,
I'll
yes.
usually just do like honestly. I mean, sometimes we can get fancy with them, but if we're looking for simple, quick fix, I'll just pop them. Yeah, a little oil in there, pop the tortillas in there, sprinkled cheese, bada bing, bada boom, little salt, little pepper, fried up, 3
There it
minutes
is.
done. Love it.
Yes. There we go. Nice. Parents out there, and I was thinking about this question. I don't have any kids, and so, but I have a lot of friends that do, and I noticed they, the variety is less than because you're cooking for the kids, and you end up just normally eating what they're eating. Is there any tips? Kara, here we go.
That's what, so we called it our house snack plate, which apparently on TikTok is referred to as girl dinner. We've had that snack plate at our house for a long time, and it's just whatever vegetables you have, any dips, get those $2 goat cheese logs from Aldi,
Yes.
crackers,
Yes.
and everybody's happy.
Oh, I love that. My daughter is obsessed with charcuterie. So
Yeah,
that's
basically
Charcuterie.
what
we call
it
it
is.
charcuterie.
Yeah, little charcuterie.
Yeah.
Crackers, salami, and cheese. It's a Lunchable.
Snack plate, yes, homemade Lunchable, snack plate, grill dinner. That's great. Well, let's get one more. Get one more. Here we go.
Easy mac and tuna.
Easy mac and cheese.
Easy mac and
You know, like those
tuna.
Star
You
Kids
throw it in.
flavor packs?
Yeah.
You throw it in.
Okay.
2 of them. Yeah, get 2 little bowls, little ones. You just pop top off and put that in.
2 per
2.
like a craft box.
No,
No, the easy
mac.
Oh yeah, you're just you put it in- yeah, good. Yeah, all right, good. And the tuna. All right.
Flavor pack.
Awesome. Thank you. Orr Street Studios, that's where we are right now. Just want to give them a shout out for being our venue sponsor. They do have an upcoming event, Pride Vibes Art Exhibit, and then there's a reception on the 21st from 5 to 7. Definitely check that out. A bunch of LGBTQ plus artists will be taking over this gallery for a few weeks. It's a great opportunity. I think they're even going to be open, I think she said 1 to 3 on the weekends as well. So Yeah, definitely check that out. I wanted to, we haven't talked about this in a while, but so Creative Mornings has a headquarters in New York, and they host quite a few field trips on the website. So basically, a field trip is just like a virtual. Usually, they're more like education leaning opportunity for experts in their field to teach folks, anybody that's interested. They're completely free, and it runs the gamut of intro to painting to marketing, copywriting to I've seen stuff in there about like science, and so it really runs the gamut. CreativeMornings.com/field trips to check those out, and we're actually looking to do some here in Columbia as well in the next few months. So like I said, Creative Mornings, global chapter, 223 chapters to be exact across 67 countries. And like I said, today, there's a bunch of people meeting, including us. There we are, right there.
Yay!
Yeah,
we've got
There we
like
are.
a dozen or so chapters: Zurich, Charleston, Columbus, Austin, Dallas, Kyoto. Like I said, this is a truly global organization. So I always like to look this up and share it because, again, a lot of people are going to be having the same conversations we're having today all over the world. It's pretty cool. Speaking of great conversations are fun with friends, right? Highly encourage you. I know a lot of people here hear about Creative Mornings through friends. That is the number one way we grow our chapter and grow attendance. And we have goals of filling this entire studio, running out of chairs even. So if you enjoyed your experience today, which I can pretty much guarantee you will, bring a friend next time.
Calling you,
I'm not very.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, and it's a great opportunity to make a friend. There's a lot of opportunities here. I like to consider it like low-key networking. You're not really networking, but I've talked to a lot of people that end up doing coffee dates with folks they meet here. It's a really great opportunity. Also to volunteer. Anyone that's interested in volunteering, we can always use help. Creative Mornings is a nonprofit, and so everyone you saw setting up chairs or setting up tech or whatever, posting on social media, all that good stuff is all volunteer work. So if you're interested in helping out, you can email Columbia@creativemornings.com or just send us a DM on Instagram. That's a great way to get connected. A lot of good opportunities to help out and build out your resume or just give back to the community. So every Creative Mornings we do the manifesto, which kind of just sets the stage for our conversation and really just gets to the core of what Creative Mornings is all about. But I do need a volunteer to read the manifesto today.
I'll read it.
Yay!
You want the mic?
Only one cup of coffee.
You want the microphone? There you go.
I don't think I need the microphone. Everyone is creative. A creative life requires bravery and action, honesty and hard work. We're here to support you, celebrate with you, and encourage you to make the things you love. We believe in the power of community. We believe in giving a damn. We believe in face-to-face connections and learning from others, in hugs and high fives. We bring together people who are driven by passion and purpose, confident that they will inspire one another and inspire change in neighborhoods and cities around the world. Everyone is welcome.
Awesome.
Good job. Thank
Thank
you.
you. One thing I forgot to mention, the music this morning, if you were listening closely, that was the January Lanterns, local artist duo here in town. They just dropped a new single, so go check it out. Dropped this morning, January Lanterns. A friend of Creative Mornings, they've come and done a couple sets here, so wanted to give them a shout out. But anyways, without any further ado, I'd like to bring Sarah up to intro our, I didn't even.
It's all right. We're
Yeah.
good. We can roll.
To introduce our speaker today.
Thanks, Mike. Glad to be here. Thanks everyone again for your time coming today. It's so fun seeing new faces, as Mike mentioned. Make a friend, bring a friend. We love more, the more the merrier. But I'm really excited to announce our speaker today. When we get these themes coming in, usually we have kind of an idea, you know, we all kind of have some folks in our mind that kind of align. But Marie has been someone that I've admired from afar. I don't know if you know that. But I've always been fond of your paintings. I thought you were always fantastic. And I actually got Jeremy, that is involved also in Tigers on the Prowl. He builds really, really beautiful guitars, does amazing work with resin. He'd be a great speaker, should note that. But he recommended us to reach out to Marie. So that was kind of my in to like, okay, good, I've always been kind of curious. And so I actually got to send her a few themes that she could kind of peruse through and pick what lined up for her. So I know that we talk about, you know, how simplicity can play a part into into this creative process, but also, as Marie mentioned, also the lack of simplicity sometimes. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her up by Marie-Josee Thiffault, but I think that she can pronounce that a little bit more sophisticated than I can. So I'm going to welcome her up now, but thanks for being here, Marie.
Wow. Well, okay, all right, sounds good. Thank you for being here. I'm amazed. I was amazed when you asked me to be here and to even be a speaker, speak of anything, really, because I don't necessarily see myself as a public speaker. It kind of, I stumbled over that by getting involved with different things. So, and how it all started, and out of all this subject that was proposed, simplicity, I thought was the closest connection to home, especially it relates to my work. It relates to my life also, or the lack of. Like life is so complicated and it gets busy, and which is why I didn't answer half the time when we were communicating, because you have to simplify constantly. You have to chuck things and then bring things back and then recenter and reassess and reprioritize almost every day, even today. Just to be here, I had things on my list, but getting on the phone with my daughter for half an hour was not on there, so then I had to reprioritize everything, and my kid came first. So I was a little bit less prepared, but that's okay. I'm happy kid in the car, so all is good, you know. So, and I've done that through my work, in order to work and to create the things that I do. It seems to be detailed and complicated, but it's actually really, really simple to think the way that I do. What's complicated is everything around it. And so simplifying is important. Without the ability to simplify and without having worked so hard to simplify things around me, I wouldn't be able to paint. So I have to not just have my surroundings to be simplified, but also how I feel. And oftentimes we can complicate things just in our heads. Just living there with all the worries and all the future that hasn't happened, the past that we can't do anything about, and the present that we're making up that's in our heads. So it's to simplify all of that, be in the moment, and clear things so I can focus. So I don't know about you guys, but who's got 8 hours of simple life? Right? So when I stand in front of, now I paint on metal, when I stand in front of my work, oftentimes I'll paint for 5 or 6 or 7 hours. During that time, everything is simple. Everything has to be simple. And if things are not simple, and I have not simplified, worked so hard to simplify it, I have to do that first. And so it's constant struggle. And my girls have learned that, so through my journey is to simplify things. And so, I'll put that. So I talk about my kids. So in the process of my work, it kind of started really, really simple. I used to be I shouldn't say just, because it's a hard work to be stay-at-home mom. So I was a stay-at-home mom for a while. The hardest job I've ever had in my life, and it's complicated. And so I was doing that with the girls and all, and then I decided to do one painting, and then go back at painting. I used to do art just on my own, and so I started painting one painting and then another one. And then I just did just a few paintings, just just a handful of paintings. And then what's interesting is that to share my work, to finally have the courage to share my work, I took a studio here at 4th Street. So my studio was the third one from the end. And so I had a studio here for a while. And I started with maybe 4 or 5 paintings. There was like nothing on the wall really. And the first painting that I sold, interestingly enough, was to a Missouri Alumni Association. So I was floored. I was floored because I stayed at home mom like a few months ago. Like nobody knew that I was doing anything. And the next thing you know, I had a studio. I had like 5 paintings on the wall. And then someone comes in, they're like, sure, we'll pay $3,000 for your painting. And I'm like, okay, let's do that. So, and you know, and to price my paintings was probably one of the difficult decisions that I've had to make is how do you do that and all that. So I had to talk to other people and talk to other artists and then set the face for that. And so from there, just one painting after another. But yeah, I was just I was a stay-at-home mom and then got a studio here. And well, those are my girls. Those are they followed me through the process. They're all creative themselves. And as I progressed, I also got involved in the community. So I started painting and getting involved in the art community in a very simple way, just on my own, and without necessarily getting involved too much in the politics of art or. I'm connected, but not overly connected. I like to be, you know, on my own and be my own entity. And I respect all of the other artists' work and what they do. But for me, it was important to just be myself and just keep it simple. Not have connection, but not necessarily put my work in the hands of anyone but myself. And so just keeping it simple has helped me also find some purpose, and I'll talk about that. In the process of it, I'm also involved in the community. I'm one of the co-founders of Como Safe Water Coalition. So we kind of tried to challenge the city to improve our drinking water quality. So that's a big challenge. I didn't know it was going to be this much of a challenge. I didn't know years later I would still be at square one, but we're still working on it. It's the city of Columbia, so we're still working on things, and hopefully we'll get somewhere at some point. But we've been meeting with the staff, the city staff, and we've been meeting with the council members and mayors and just try to get things moving a little bit. So got involved in the community on that too. Let me see one here. So this is the one painting, the very first painting that I did when I got back into painting. I was at home changing diapers, raising kids, going to the pool, taking them to school, you know, and all that. And then when the girls got a little older, then I just thought, I'll just paint something. Just go back to do that. And this is the first painting that I did after years of not painting. And it was kind of simple. It was actually, I actually gave it to a friend of mine for her 9th year anniversary. And then so my friends were like, what? Yeah, this is really good. Maybe you should have a studio. They said, I just did a painting. Let's keep it simple. So I was like, no, I don't know that I should. And then after that, I decided to get a little bit more into mixing things. So those were studies. So those were pre-sharing, it was just to try to see, okay, how good am I? How can I mix some colors and just, so those were kind of studies on how to, it's a little blur, I'm sorry. But those were some of the studies that I did before I started sharing. So those were like the 4 or 5 paintings that were in my studio when I first opened it. And so now they found a happy home. But yeah, so that was pre-studio. And then the Tigers took off.
I love those.
So yeah, so this one is the one that I sold to an alumni association. So they bought it and then they re-auctioned it. Not re-auctioned, but they auctioned it, and then they used the image for 2 years to send cards to their donors. So I think they made like 250 cards that they sent to people. So to me, that was like a hell of a gig to get started. Like, I was like, what? And when I painted it, it wasn't because of we're in the Tiger City. Actually, I told myself, like, I can paint, but there's no way, no, I'm not making a bunch of tigers. I really, yeah. So despite your best efforts at simplifying, it doesn't always work. So I did that one, and then after that, so I'm like, okay, so fine, I'm gonna make tigers, well, I'm gonna make tigers on my agenda. Yeah, it's gonna be the tigers on. So I did this one, I was thinking there's snow, and they're quiet, nobody's growling, and jayhawks and balls. So this one ended up being the first Tigers on the Prowl painting that I turned in. So that was a major fiasco, by the way, because it made it to the big gala and all of that stuff, and they auctioned it, and it didn't sell very many, and I was just so disappointed. Oh, it was just, and it was the first time I was putting myself out there like this, and I was like, oh my God, it barely sold for anything. And so I just got up and I left. I don't know who bought it. I just left. I was like, oh my God, that was terrible. I should not do that. So anyway, but the year after that, I just put myself together and I was like, it's fine. It's not about the money. It's not about that. It helps children. It helps charity. And so that's where I didn't know where I was going with my artwork. It didn't really have like a direction. It didn't really have a purpose. And then from that point, that kind of failure point, it was actually a growth point where I found purpose. So I was like, okay, this is not about that. It's really not about that. It's about my work. It's about my work can help. So hold my beer. So some of more of the paintings that I have in my studio, some of the trees here.
Oh, I love the tree.
That I've made. So, but yeah, so from, I can't find that. I don't even know if I put it in there. I really simplified things because so many things were coming my way. But anyway, when that happened with Tigers on the Prowl, the following year, I contacted them late. So it's not just you. It's kind of a pattern. So I contacted them late. I knew it was past the date, and I was like, hey, do you guys want me? If you'd like, I can turn in a piece and I can participate again. If you want, if not, it's fine. It can be. Oh no. So they responded right away. They was like, yes. And I was like, my God, they already sold last year. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, so hold on. Now I'm going in a little bit. Now it's gonna be good. And it wasn't even about performing, it was about, okay, I want to show something, I want people to be inspired and to see something that is more than just art, like that speaks something different. So I did this painting, this tiger, on 8 different metal panels. And I made the frame myself. I bolted the frame. I made the frame of metal. I bolted the frame on it, and brought that in. And you can bring guests as an artist. So I didn't bring a date. I brought someone to bed. So I brought someone to bed. I was like, I ain't bringing a date to that. We're going. So I did, and it ended up being the highest ticketed item of it. Whoever got my beer, it worked. And then from there, it has been the case every year.
Oh, wow.
So after that, they asked me to be on the board of Tigers on the Prowl. I still trying to figure out what I'm doing, but we're selecting artists and we're selecting charities, and then we're organizing a gala every year. And so ever since when I turn in work, somehow it ends up being the highest ticketed item. Actually, let me see. I think that, so this one here, the one on the left, is at Silver Ball Bar right now. Oh, that Jayhawk story. So I did this auction. I'm like going places. You're gonna have to stop me at some point because I'm telling stories.
I'll let you know.
So I did this in an auction that was the football coaches' wives event at stadium, and so I did this live, and this lady bid on it, and then
wasn't part of the
It was
story.
finished. It was finished. I was finishing it up. I mean, I was putting the last hair and all. And she came to me and she's like, "Oh, I got that painting. I've been on it. Would you paint a Jayhawk that's bleeding in its mouth?" And I'm like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, "Well, that's not like I'm finishing." We're finishing. And so she's like, "Well, it's okay. You can just add it on." And I was like, "Well, that's not how I really intended this piece to be." She said, "Well," she's like, "I'll have my sister-in-law paint over it."
Like pour some salt in that one.
I know. It was bad. I didn't know what to do. So a friend of mine was there. She was one of the coaches, the football coach's wives, and I thought she was going to pounce. I mean, she was just losing it. I was like, "Oh, no, I'll try to handle that." So I tried to give her a bid. I think she went home, sobered up, talked to her husband. So I don't think any Jayhawk made it.
Oh, that's so funny.
It was quite an experience. So that's not Tigers on the Prowl, but the one on the left came from Tigers on the Prowl because it's one of the commissions that I got from participating with Tigers on the Prowl. This is, I'm kind of flipping around. This is from Tigers on the Prowl. This is, we couldn't have a gala with Tigers on the Prowl during the pandemic. I mean, it kind of threw everything off base in a lot of ways. So we had an online auction. So we ran an online auction, but there's only 2 items that got sold instead of, it brings like thousands of dollars. So this was one of them. So we at least got to sell that one. And it was hard to find inspiration during the pandemic to paint and all that, but other thing that came from Tigers on the Prowl also, and that's also really interesting because I just started out of 4 paintings and it just all unfolded. One of the things that I got involved with Tigers on the Prowl is to make a children's book. So I brought it here. It was really interesting to do. If you guys want to look at it afterwards, you can. It was designed by a bunch of artists here in town. Jenny McGee is one of them, if you know Jenny McGee, and Rochelle Douglas, she's a wonderful artist also, and Aaron Brown, what's his last name? I'm blanking. He's done some children's book too, like probably out, and so. I'm gonna waste some time here. Aaron Fox. Aaron Fox. So he's done some children's books, so he got involved, and so that's one of the things that came out with Tigers on the Prowl, getting involved there. The recovering tiger was that one. This one was from last year.
That's cool.
And so this one was from the year before. This one is the one that probably sold for the most at Tigers on the Prowl. I was impressed. I was really surprised because, I've been with Tigers on the Prowl for some time, and it's a huge painting. It's 6 feet by 4 feet, and it had a big metal frame that I had custom made. I had asked to custom made by Russellville. You know this Columbia sign that's at the corner of Providence? So I work with them oftentimes. So he did the frame for that painting, and so we turned that in. It's gotta be like 300-pound painting. So I showed up at Tigers on the Prowl with that. I wasn't thinking. I didn't know what I was thinking because I'm like, you can't slap that in a Prius. How do you take that home? It's 300 pounds. You can't even put that in the back of the truck. So I'm like, I get that there, and so that's where I didn't think that far. But it sold for $7,000. So it was really exciting because we get to sell to auction artwork, and it does well. But this one did really well. This one was from last year, and that's where I think I can speak of how simplicity or the lack of can impact my work. I've been through some phases in my life, in my development, my journey, that I couldn't paint. I just couldn't paint. And I know how. I know how to paint. And you could think you just look at an image, you pick up your paintbrush, and you put it on canvas.
That's what you do. But we Love it.
sounds like, it's like the normal order of things. And since it's not or it doesn't look like it's an expression of yourself, it really is. Because for me to paint the way that I do, I have to look at an image with appreciation. I have to be clear inside. I have to be clear in my eyes. If I'm not clear inside, I can't see well. I can't see what I'm doing or how to strategize. So for a while, I didn't paint because things in my life needed to be simplified. And so when I don't do that, then it impacts my work in the sense that it can't move. And if I try to do that without simplifying, it doesn't work. I'm not going anywhere. It doesn't happen. So I have to do that. And so that's been just a struggle, but it's been a focus. And it was even a word that I picked for years. Simplicity is just to try to stay focused on it, because there's always all kinds of stuff that come and complicate life. Divorce, dating, breaking up, your kids' health, and my kids had some health issues for a while and all of that stuff. So there's a lot of things that can complicate our life, and how that my art has been a barometer to an indicator on when and where I needed to simplify things. So if I would get to a point where I can't paint, then I reassess. Okay, what's new? What's the new things that came into my life? What's in my mind? What's in my heart that's in the way of that? And then okay, I need to resolve that. I need to find, because I won't be able to paint. But also it impacts other areas of our lives, and we don't always see that. We don't always feel it, because performances might be at a different level. And so, but when it comes to just me sitting with my work, if I need to simplify life around me and inside of me before I can paint. Because if not, it's not going to get through. So it's been a not just a challenge, but really a focus for me to work through that. Well, I'm showing that. Through Tigers on the Prowl, I also got to connect a lot with the community, and it's been really humbling. Even for me to be here and speak of my journey and look back at all the things, it's almost surreal, because it's just, okay, so this I did, and then I put it behind, and I did this other thing, and then I put it behind, and I did this other thing, put it behind, and at the end of the day, I have a life like everybody else. I don't always want to cook, and it's like, I don't really go as far as which and so sometimes I want to cook, and so maybe that's why my kid cooks, because she picked it up on. So I just feel like I have had this really cool journey, but it's been a lot of simple moments that I just focused on and I just took on. So in the process of it, this is this also speaks of a moment where I had to simplify my life in ways that were difficult, some difficult choices that I had to do, because I couldn't paint for a while again. And so I made some of those choices, and this is what comes on the other side of it. It's so important to simplify. And I've been talking about that with my girls all the time, because they get all worked up about things and all that. And it's like, since I've had to work on making decisions constantly, sometimes even hard ones, it's for the greater good. Because if my performance with a paintbrush is like that when I simplify, imagine if we do that in our lives and every day. Like our performance, our level of happiness and how we feel can be enhanced so much. So it's not just in artwork. Artwork, I think, is a reflection of where you're at and who you are, how you look at things. And so for me to paint like this, I have to see the world and people in my life with these eyes. So I have to find appreciation for it. And if I don't have appreciation, then find it and find reasons to, and then make the decisions to simplify and to get to that level. it really has been, it's interesting that it was a theme because it was my word for a lot of years. Not necessarily because I'm great at it, but because I have to work at it. I mean, even this past couple of weeks, I took my daughter to New York. She's going to culinary school in New York. So that's really exciting. It's very complicated to get there. So, but where was I going with that? Yeah, I took my daughter to New York, and so just to get her there and for her to embrace that, we had to like cut down on a lot of other things. And so if I focus on certain things in order to things to go well, I'll just put away other things. And sometimes you have to be sorry. And this is what I'm doing, it's for my life. And when you do it for the greater good, I think people understand and you can see that you're prioritizing, you're simplifying your prioritizing. So I've had to do that quite a bit. I wanted to show this is what's going on. So this year, Tigers on the Prowl, we have 2 events. We have one at Central Bank coming up September 26th. So the artists are going to be presenting some of their work. And then the gala is happening October 17th. We do that once a year. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. And yeah.
Oh,
Voila.
thank you. No, you're.
I have a comment. I have known Maurice 20 years now. How old is Daphne? 20 years?
She's 21.
So, since she came to Missouri, and I've known her since before, like when she was a stay-at-home mom, and through all of that, and before I knew that she was this amazing artist. And I remember when you got her studio and we came to visit you, and I was like, wow, this is so amazing. And you talked about this whole journey today and this whole theme of simplicity. And the thing that resonated with me is you were like, there was 1 piece here, there was 2 pieces here, there was 4 pieces here. And the beginning of that journey was so simple. And it evolved into this amazing thing that you're doing now. And just weaving in this whole theme of simplicity and seeing how it's evolved into this amazing work that you're doing. You know, sometimes the biggest things in your life start with these very simple steps and just taking one thing at a time and doing one thing that you love and then doing another thing that you love and then showing those things that you love to other people and then they love them. And so it just all kind of came together with me for just knowing you so long and going on those play dates with our babies. And,
It's so wild.
and just like,
It's so wild.
well, I saw that you were
It's
doing
so
this and I was like, I have to go.
This is a gift. This is such a gift.
So anyway, I'm very proud of you. So.
Yeah, no, it really took off. Like I like what you said because it really took off when purpose started settling in.
Yeah.
And then we don't worry about anything but what it is that it serves. And then when you find a purpose, it just finds direction. It just gets itself there. And next thing you know, I don't even know where I'm at. I don't even know how people see me. It doesn't even matter. It's just, you're just doing it. And the next thing you know, you have the lead of making a children's book. And the next thing you know, you're in Aaron Brockovich book. And then you're like,
Wait, what?
So, no, that's one thing I love it. So in Como Se Fuera Coalition, one of the things that what we've done is we've met Aaron Brockovich. And so, yeah, we spent an afternoon with Aaron Brockovich at a brewery.
Pretty cool.
I bet there's a story there.
Oh, girl. Hey, listen. Yeah, I know. I had one too many beers, but I mean, it wasn't bad. But she was eating in my food. I was eating her food, and it was like just super cool, super chill. That really, really nice lady. And the next thing you know, so we were meeting her and a water expert to talk about the water. She's been very supportive to our work and very helpful also. So yeah, we met in Hannibal and at a brewery, and we spent all afternoon there. And then she invited her. She had a lady that was writing that book, and so next thing you know, she shows up. Oh no, she didn't show up. She called us. And then she wanted to put our story in the book. So there's like 6 pages, it's our story. So Columbia is in Aaron Brockovich's book.
very cool.
And yeah, it was really cool. I was like, that's So I'm like, why? What am I doing in Eric's apartment? What's happening? But she's super, super nice, and I think she's also a great example of just someone that just put her boots on, showed up somewhere where she had a purpose, and just made something happen. And well, it's a whole other level, but still. So yeah, I got to meet her, and so yeah. So the little story at some point, I don't know what happened, but we were talking and the hands were going and all that. She about punched me in the face. She was right next to me, just eating my mushrooms, and she's giving me bites of her burger and all that stuff. And then we're talking, and then almost punched me in the face, but she's great. Yeah.
When you said I didn't take a date, I brought someone to bed, I thought you said I didn't bring a date, I brought someone to bed. I wanted to say,
And when did you get her? Like, oh, she's French.
I have seen a lot of tiger art, as I'm sure a lot of people have, and I just wanted to say the expression, I've never seen tigers with such expression on their faces, which was amazing, and not just like the tip, like, oh, fierce or what, but I mean sad and thoughtful, and so those are awesome. But what I wanted to ask you, I think you're very fortunate to have a manifestation of like, oh, this happens, I need to simplify. I can't paint, what do I need to simplify? And you're really lucky to have that. I was thinking myself, like, what's my indicator of, I can't X, I need to X, Y. I wanted to ask you specifically, when you get to that point, you're like, I need to simplify. Do you have any specific practices or things that you do or rules for yourself, or is there anything that you go back to when you start your I've got to simplify process?
Yeah, because sometimes we get in our minds and then everything's important. So everything is like on the urgent level. And it's not. It's really not. And so I'm not, so if there's something that's worrying me or and it's about how someone else's feel, then that's not my bucket. So I put it in my bucket. Life kind of brought it in my bucket. So, okay, that's not my bucket. And so, or if it's in my bucket, is it my bucket right now? So if it's not my bucket right now, when is it gonna be? And how am I gonna resolve that? And so I kind of take it down from the sense of urgency in a good way. What I've been really skillful at doing, I think, is boundaries. And I find that oftentimes our life gets complicated because we don't have good boundaries. We allow a lot of disturbances in our lives and people and things that don't align with us. And we let it because we think we have to, and we don't. If you're not contributing in my life in a positive way, and that's not where your journey is at, I'm gonna chill your journey, and you're gonna do that over there, and because this is mine, this is my space. So the nice thing with that is I've been protecting my space, I've been protecting the life around me, and so therefore, whoever comes around me have also that vision, that view, and that's what they want. And so that's really important. And my girls will tell you oftentimes that being at home, it's like there's nothing outside of those walls. There's absolutely, once we shut the door, that's it. Nothing gets you. So for me, it's to go back to your answer, to me is to live in the shoes I'm in. So I'm here right now, I'm not at work. It's gonna be a circus when I get there. Right now, I'm here. And it's fine over there. And if it's not fine, it's fine, I'm here. So, but every so often, yeah, I have to circle back because then sense of urgency happens, and then you have to like, okay, this needs to go, this needs to go. Now, I don't just discard everything and everyone so quickly, it's not like that. But sometimes when you see that it becomes a disturbance in your life and it doesn't align with the life you want to live and the person you want to be, then there's people that are not supposed to be there. There's things that are not supposed to be there. It needs to be what needs to be there, and then that's what I bring in, and that's what I focus on. So I've been really blessed to to have that in my life is people that have the same views on family, on life, on health, and on those things. And we have a lot more control over our environment than sometimes we may feel. And so you have to circle back and simplify. Be like, okay, I have this space, I have this time, and so what do I need to choose? And sometimes what do I need to choose out? So yeah, it's but my artwork is a barometer of that, where I'm like, okay, this is, I know what needs to go, or I know what needs to be fixed. So, but it's a struggle, it's a constant struggle.
Probably have time for one more question, if anyone else has one more question, a couple minutes. If not, I highly suggest you take a couple minutes to go look at the painting. She's got paintings up there, the books are up there.
Yeah, I brought some paintings. I had a show that I just took down, and those are actually sold, so I have to return it to the owners. But those are some of the rare paintings that I got to do for nobody, just to paint, just because I love the subject, and I got to sit and be quiet and gratitude. So those are paintings, some of the first paintings that I did on metal also. Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, how do you choose your subject?
My
How,
subject,
yeah, how do you the tigers or the landscapes or
well, the tigers is
it's something that
it shows me. I do love to paint tigers. I do love to paint tigers, but the nice thing is that
But
somehow
do you
I
name-
draw a line. I draw boundaries. So if someone asks me to do a tiger, I'm like, okay, wait. What do you want? Because I don't know if I want to go there or not. So I might. Most of the time now, people will just tell me just paint whatever, because I know it's going to be good. So you just paint whatever you want, and then you just give me that money. So it's good. It's wild I'm saying this, but I mean it's really good. So I'll choose. When I look at images, it just triggers an emotional response. I think like it does anyone looking at art. It just triggers something in you. So when I look at images, it'll trigger an emotional response. I did a lot of trees. I painted a lot of trees and found out that when you're going through a lot of transition, you tend to paint trees. So there's a lot of transition happening. So, but it's one of those things. I just look at the image, or I look at a landscape, and it comes to me. Yeah. Wish I had a more eloquent answer than that, but it really is just that. I just look at something, and then it just inspires me.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.